Australia continues to lag behind the rest of the world when it comes to its reception of the cruise industry. That was highlighted this week with one massive change overseas. We'll talk about all that and more now. I'm Adrian, the Cruise and Travel Guy. As always, thank you for subscribing to my channel, and if you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. Carnival will resume local operations in October, and this week they confirmed their COVID policies. Their aptly named Have Fun, Be Safe COVID guest protocols outline the requirements that guests need to meet in order to step on board a Carnival ship. These are generally in line with company stablemates P&O and Princess, starting of course with a negative COVID test and self-reporting of that result being required in order to board. All guests over the age of 12 must be fully vaccinated. There are limited places on board for unvaccinated guests who will need to meet certain criteria in order to apply for a vaccination exemption. These will be processed on a first-come, first-served basis, and applications open on August 15th for sailings through to the end of this year. Mask policies echo those of P&O and Princess, being required on board where social distancing isn't possible, during embarkation and disembarkation, and on board the ship's tenders. Carnival will also require all guests to complete online check-in and to pre-select a boarding time. Unvaccinated guests over the age of 12 won't be able to undertake independent shore excursions even in Australian cities. In order to get off the ship, they will need to be on a Carnival shore tour. Though I'm not suggesting that the risk of COVID or other diseases is not real, it's very clear that our national approach to the issue is inconsistent at best and is obviously lagging behind other parts of the world. This was highlighted earlier this week when the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention announced that it was completely ending its COVID-19 program for the cruise industry. The now defunct program had followed on from the conditional sailing order and is what allowed the cruise industry to resume operations in the US. Those orders paved the way for the industry to get off the ground and in fact contributed to Australia's own cruise restart policies. The ending of the program means that the CDC will no longer track case numbers on ships or use its color-coded system to denote recent cases on board vessels. In its place, the CDC will announce a new set of recommendations that cruise lines will not be required to follow. It's unlikely that cruise lines will change their onboard policies, however, a couple of cruise lines have already announced the cessation of pre-cruise testing. Virgin Voyages and Azamara both confirmed in separate statements that pre-cruise COVID testing will no longer be required in order to board their ships. Some ports will still require embarkation testing in accordance with country regulations. Princess Cruises announced that on voyages from the US, it will now allow up to 10% of the guests on board to be unvaccinated. A medical exemption won't be required to apply for one of the unvaccinated spaces, but it is still limited and available on a first-come, first-served basis only. The ending of the CDC program means that despite the recent Australian media circus around a few cases of COVID on board ships here, the world is well and truly moving on to something that resembles normality, whatever that means anymore. Personally, I view this change as progress, and I do believe that it paves the way for Australia to follow suit, possibly in 2023. This isn't so much about removing health protocols, but instead treating the cruise industry as any other industry is treated in this country, whether it's entertainment, sport, or tourism. Meanwhile, Princess Cruises have announced another itinerary change. The Coral Princess was set to depart on 2 short cruises in August, a 3- and 4-night cruise from Sydney departing on August 22nd and 25th respectively. Due to availability issues at Sydney's overseas passenger terminal, Princess has actually combined both cruises into one 7-night voyage. Affected guests will be automatically moved to the new longer voyage with cruise fares and promotions protected. For those that can take the extra time off, it's a bit of a win. A full refund or future cruise credit is available for guests that aren't able to sail on the extended voyage. As I had mentioned in a previous video, P&O have confirmed that the Pacific Encounter is currently en route to Sydney. She will arrive on August 2nd before spending a couple of weeks here in the Harbour City, and on August 18th she will undertake a 2-night activation cruise which will see her arrive in Brisbane on August 20th, ready to commence guest services. Well, that's about it for this week's cruise news update. Wherever you are, thank you very much for watching, and you can also head to my website, thecruiseandtravelguide.com.au, if you are interested in searching and booking a cruise, and you can give me a follow on Facebook and Instagram at The Cruise and Travel Guide. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Carnival will resume. These are generally in line with company stablemates P&O and Princess, with a negative Carnival will also require all guests to complete an online check-in and pre-select a full refund or future cruise credit is available for guests that can't